Hey, true believers. Chris Matt coming at you today with Batman number 94. And I gotta say, now, I saw this post on Twitter where a lot of artists say that, they usually like to do their own covers because then it kind of gives the audience an idea of what type of artwork's going to be on the inside. And 95% of the time I do agree with that because, you kind of want to see what you're getting, whereas, you get a beautiful cover and then you open it up and you're just sort of like, that's not what I was expecting. Now, it hasn't happened in a long time, but we're not going to go into that because what we're going to talk about is a great comic book, and I actually do love these variants by Francesco Mattina. Oh man, these things have been just gorgeous, and he's been knocking it out of the park with each variant, especially with this one and the Joker and Punchline. Really sums up with what the next story is going to be coming up to. Now, before we get into the story, and we've talked about who did this variant cover, the writer here is James Tynion IV. Guillem March, if I brutalize the names, let me know down in the comments and feel free to make fun of me. And then Rafael Albuquerque. The colorist is David Barron, and the letterer is Clayton Cowles. Now we start off on years ago, and what I like here is each person in this book is talking about how they have a design. And so if you remember at the beginning of this Tynion arc, how Bruce was trying to reveal a new Gotham and how it's starting to go into construction, and how with that the designer started to implement his attack on Gotham. Well, what I like here is they even actually kind of harken back. I think it was the Alfred Pennyworth funeral comic. What was it called? Pennyworth R.I.P., which I'll try to re-upload again, I promise. But nonetheless, it goes back to how Alfred said that he always called his doodles my little Gotham. And what's interesting here is Bruce actually starts to talk about how that's not what it was. And it has a darker meaning. So make sure when you read this to check it out. Now, the reason that we're going back into this, back in time, sorry, not enough coffee today, is we see Bruce tries to meet this guy who's supposed to be the world's greatest detective. Now, before I start really getting it into here, if you've not read these issues, please pause this, go to your local comic shop and pick up the Tynion run, which I think picks up at issue 90. So go ahead and pause, we'll wait for you. And you're back. All right. So Bruce here says, "You're Cassander Wycliffe Baker. You were the greatest detective in the world until you disappeared. You make it sound so noble. I was humiliated and outmatched. I ran like a frightened child." Now, if we remember, he goes, a child who has seen the face of his own death. Now, if you remember how the designer talked about how he beat his anti-hero, or, the antithesis of what he was, well, here we go. Now, Batman's like, "Teach me, show me." And he's like, "No." And he says, we're going to skip a couple pages, hence why we're not going to focus yet. Because what I want to show here is you get, "Teach me." "No, I think not." Now, this is a serious panel. But before we get too far into it, can somebody please, I've seen this all over Facebook, and I don't understand. Now, I know Batman, he usually kind of goes, kind of thinking. What is the big joke of all this on Facebook? I don't understand it. If someone could enlighten me on that, I'd very much appreciate it. Now, with that said, back to the seriousness. He goes, "I think not. Not what you came here to learn anyways. I'll teach you the most important lesson of all, boy. I'll teach you how to lose." So yeah, that kind of hit me because it really kind of goes, it shows how Batman is able to not tolerate, but how to overcome failure now. Now, what I like here is Tynion goes back to Frank Miller. Because, this is the aftermath of the battle of him and the designer. And he's sitting here thinking. And he's talking about how back when he first became Batman, how when he was sitting there broken and bruised from his first outing, how all he had to do was ring the bell and Alfred would come to him, and how the bat smashed through the window. So I love this homage to year one, because it really starts to make sense, because then we go back to, he's asking for Lucius, because at this point Alfred's dead. But anyway, Lucius has kind of become the new Alfred. Now again, spoilers for what's going on in this current, their Dark Design, which this is the finale issue, so go back and check out the other reviews that I've done on this run. Because of what the designer set in motion, the Joker has found a way to liquidate all of Bruce Wayne's assets. Why? Check it out. Now, what I like here is Gotham thinks that Bruce was embezzling, so we got cops. He's broke. This kind of reminds me of what happened in Dark Knight Rises movie with Bane. But Lucius gets very poignant. He goes, they're going to take the company next. I need to be here as CEO to fight them off. I can't be this for you. If you want me to save you, you need me to do the job you hired me to. Because he's saying if I would have not been busy helping Batman, I would have seen this coming. So the next thing is Selina, after the fight with Punchline, they're both apologizing for everything that's going on. And it's really a touching moment. I know some people will be like, well, that's out of character for Batman. Maybe. But Batman loves his wife. And that's like the one person you don't want to be, hardened against. And so they're talking about the Joker. And he's like, you need to get out of this hospital. So he's going to go save her. Well, something has happened. He needs to find out where Selina is. And then we get this really great psycho paneling by the art team with the Joker kind of going, I know who you are. I've taken your money. And just look at the insanity that really helps with the drama of the page. And then right here where, oh God, who is he talking about here? Hold on, he goes, oh, Catwoman. He goes, oh, she belled the second she was stitched up. Think she saw what's coming? Or is she just plain sick of you? Or maybe she knows your real beau is back in town and doesn't want the competition. And then Punchline, I'm getting jealous. How about I buy you a nice diamond district and you can kill everyone inside? Would that make it worth it, my dear? Okay, yeah, I can live with that. So you see that the Joker now has someone just as insane as him. And that's what I like about Punchline, because she really puts Harley in her place in one of these issues, and it makes you actually enjoy Punchline and kind of wish that they would retire Harley at this point. So yeah, just great work. The story, you start to feel the intensity starting to build up. And you actually find out where Selina is. Where is she at? I really don't want to give it away. But what's kind of neat is you find out that it's sort of like a place where the villains can hang out. So make sure to read the book to find out where this goes. It is funny that the Penguin actually says, you're not going anywhere. There's a Joker war coming on. We're in full lockdown. So, it's sort of like, well, whenever there's a Joker war, which this book, to clarify, this book is kind of like the prelude to the Joker War event that's coming up, which I'm hoping to go over at least the Detective Comic and Batman version of. I'm not going to do every single book because, yeah, due to space and then just, not going insane. Batman number 94, guys, absolutely amazing read. I'm really appreciating what James Tynion IV is doing with this book. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please make sure to first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. And if you've enjoyed this review, we'd really appreciate it if you hit like, share, and subscribe. It helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little Punchline bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can get notified. Come to the channel, and we love to hear your thoughts and just have a dialogue with y'all down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. And with all that said, thank you all for stopping by. I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.